Hi, and welcome to Cockatoos with Attitude. This is Pippa. Today we're going to do a race, okay? We're on the racetrack. We're going to go through the basic things. That's right, Pippa. The basic things that I use every day in bird training, okay? There's a lot more things. At the end of this, you'll see a list that'll scroll through the screen, kind of like Star Wars, that'll show you all the things I didn't talk about, okay? But these are the basics, and we're on the racetrack. Let's go! To win with parrot training, one thing you have to do is you have to be positive. That's right, positive in applied behavior analysis simply means to add something. There's positive adding something. So if Pippa does something that I like and I give her a reward, that's adding something, okay? We're adding something. Now you can add something that can work the other way too. You can add something that'll make an animal run away, okay? But positive means adding something. Negative is taking away. Now she's sitting right here on my fingers. I'm not going to do too much of this, but if I do this, I'm taking away her balance. So that's negative. Reinforcement means to increase or establish a higher level of activity of a behavior. Okay. Punishment is to extinguish or reduce a behavior. So if she's doing something like nipping at me, ouch! If I slow that down so she doesn't nip as much, or I stop her from nipping, that's punishment. Doesn't have anything to do with hurting anyone. Now let's put these terms together. Positive reinforcement. She does something I like. Oh, she starts singing and I want her to keep talking like this. Then I reinforce it with a treat or with patting. Right, Pippa? Yeah. Positive punishment. They're reducing a behavior by adding something. The bird runs over and chews on the drapes, but you put a toy it doesn't like there, so it runs up and says, whoops, I'm not going over there. You've now broken that behavior, so you're establishing a behavior of not going around the curtains. Negative reinforcement is taking away something to reinforce a behavior. Let's say you have a bird that has been inappropriately playing with one toy. Remove that toy in order to get the bird to play normally with the other toys. That would be negative reinforcement. Negative punishment, you want to take away something. So negative punishment, a good example of negative punishment is if she's trying to bite my hand and I take away her sense of balance so she can't bite. Right? She goes to bite, by rotating my hand, she has to back up. The 3 C's, okay? Consistency, do something the same way. So if you're going to teach them to step up, you use your right hand, well then use your right hand every time. And you're going to do it in the same area, the same perch, the same area, the same kind of distractions as little as possible, okay? So that's being consistent. Contiguity, that's getting it at the right time and place. So if a bird does something, you want to let them know right then and there. We use a bridge for that. If we can't get them to reinforce it right away, we use a bridge. They'll say, good bird, okay? Contingency. If a bird does something with the way you want it to do it, if it gets it right, you give the reinforcer, but only then. The reinforcement is contingent on the behavior. Extinction. You got a bird that screams all the time. Some people say, well, just ignore it. Don't do that. You can ignore it if you add something else to it. So when the bird makes a sound you like, you praise them and give them a treat. The extinction will happen when they stop making that sound or when it's completely gone. That would be extinction. You can reduce it until it finally fades away because they're not getting anything for it. Alternative, okay? It's called differential reinforcement. In other words, you're taking one thing and replacing it with another. So if a bird likes to chew your shoes, okay, you can get little miniature shoes for them to chew. So when they come up to get on your shoes, you give them little miniature shoes. Or you give them something else that's the same kind of texture. You want to replace their need. You don't want to get rid of it, okay? So now you're just replacing one item or with another to get a different behavior. Incompatible. Good example. When I get Lucy up to come in here, she's gonna, every time she tries the nip. Now that she's got a beak she can use, she doesn't actually hurt you, but she tries. So what I do is when I'm reaching in to get her, I put a toy, I have a toy that has little blinking lights in it, and I put it up to her face so she can't get my hand. It's incompatible because there's no way she can bite my hand with that in the way. Putting an almond in their beak, something else like that, that's incompatible. So find something that makes the behavior that's incompatible with that behavior. Reinforcing other behavior. You have a bird that does a lot of good behaviors, and once in a while they do something you don't want them to do. You're going to set a timer, and every 30 seconds or every minute, make sure you stick to the timing. As long as the bird doesn't do that behavior, you give them a reward during that time frame while you're training. Say 10 minutes that you do this. That's reinforcing other behavior. Everything else is okay except that one behavior, and they'll get the reward if they don't do that behavior. A motivating operation. This is the one I remember from my class, but it fits. You got a dog. The dog keeps attacking the cat. Okay? So what you do is you take the dog out and run around, play with the ball until it's really tired, then bring it inside and then let the cat come in. The odds on that dog going after the cat after you've done that motivating operation. So it's anything you do before the session of training that sets up that session training is called a motivational operation. Extinction burst. When you're training and you get to a point where they're doing what you want, but you want them to go to the next step and they don't get it, stop rewarding. You stop rewarding. It's like, I've said this many times, it's like going to the Coke machine, you put the money in, the Coke doesn't come out. Few people are just going to walk away. They'll kick the machine, they'll hit it, they'll curse, whatever it is. Extinction burst. Use it and recognize it. When an animal starts acting crazy and doing all kinds of different things, there's something it wants, it's not getting. This was only an intro. Those are some of the basics I use every day. Don't expect this to be a complete list. And the complete list follows, all right?